there, everyone, and happy Monday to you. It's Kimberly Beer here with Make It Happen Monday. One thing you can do this week to better market your business. And hey, we all need to put images in our emails, our social media, on our websites. And I know a lot of you out there struggle with how on earth do I resize my images? Somebody just asked for a medium resolution image, or the image I sent them was 5 megabytes and they really need it to be under 1 megabyte for my website, or somebody really wants to have that image converted from a TIFF file to a JPEG file, or perhaps what you really want to do is to be able to crop that image so that it shows the action that you want it to show. And I found this great utilities. Shout out to Social Media Examiner. I listen to their podcast every week, and this was a tool that was featured. And since I know most of you probably don't listen to the Social Media Examiner podcast, this is a great way for you to learn about this particular tool, and it is free. It's also online based, so you don't have to have, anything downloaded onto your computer to be able to do it. It is a really simple one of these tools. You're not going to be able to add type. You're not going to be able to do anything really fancy here, but what it does extremely well. So let's dive in. I want to show you what it can do. So I have an image over here that is a JPEG, and if I click on Get Info, you'll be able to see, well, it popped up on the wrong screen, so we'll drag it over here. You'll be able to see this image is 6.7 megabytes. And if I wanted to use this image in an email, I wouldn't be able to do it because it's too big to upload to Constant Contact, and it's really too big to be in any email program, even if it would accept it. So I want to resize that image. So I click on the button here that says Upload Image. And that image is on my desktop, so it's 1522. Let's go ahead and sort these by name. Sorry, I didn't have that done in advance. And there's my image. I'm going to go ahead and click on Open, and it's going to upload it to this particular program. Now that may take a second or two to actually get accomplished because this image is fairly good sized. I mean, it's going to be a relatively large image. It's way too big to use in a website. Now, when you upload images to your website, you're going to want to compress them. And that's another thing I like about this is it gives you the opportunity to compress a JPEG image so that it will take up less of a footprint, not just resizing it, but also compressing it so it's not at 100%. For most photographers like myself, we tend to work with our images at a full resolution and a full size. And when we pass those along to our clients, a lot of times those images are too big to be in a website, or they're too big to be included in an email, not only in dimensions, but also in resolution. So you can drop some of that down a little bit and compress it a little bit better. I misused the word resolution there. It's not resolution, it's compression. So it does something with the pixels. It averages them so that there are fewer pixels, but it is the same height and width. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Trust me, you probably don't even need to know that. It just makes the image smaller in space on your computer. I think that would be an easier way to explain it. All right, so once the image is in Photo Utils, and if I wanted to resize this image to a different size, let's say I wanted to put it on Facebook, there's actually a social media image sizes right here. I can click on that and then click on Facebook and see what the various pixel sizes are for Facebook. And let's say I wanted to make it a shared image. So that would be 1200 by 630. So that's a really handy little chart to have a hold of, right? So I would want to change the width to 1200. So I'm up here in the upper left-hand corner, and I'm going to change the width to 1200. Now, before I do that, I want to point something out very, very important. It has here, it says keep proportions. You need to make sure that this is clicked on. Otherwise, it is going to make your image look out of proportion if you change the width and the height independently and then don't keep the proportions. So technically you're only going to be able to change one of these numbers. And I always pick the width side or the longest side. So I'm going to change that to 1200, and you're going to see it drops my height down to 728. I'm actually fine with that. Facebook will take care of the rest of it for me. Facebook wants your pictures to look good, so they generally help adjust. They'll either crop or something will happen in there for the image. And then I'm just going to go ahead and click on Resize. Now you're going to think, well, what happened to this? I mean, it kind of resized it, but what actually occurred in that process? And I don't see a save button. Don't worry about that. Your image actually downloaded when you hit the resize. So in my case, it is going to have appeared in my downloads folder right here. And you can see that image 1522, and then it has a little notice that it came from Photo Utils, is now down to 425 kilobytes. So reducing it just in the little bit of width and still keeping it 100% JPEG, managed to reduce it down so that now it is under the size that I can safely upload it to my email marketing software, that I could safely put it on social media. And if I wanted to compress it a little bit, I could get it smaller and put it on my website. 425 is probably a little big for something to put on a website. So let's explore the compression. So up here at the top, I'm going to click on compress. And here file size is 6.68 megabytes. So let's reduce that down to, and we want to use kilobytes, by the way. We want to reduce that down to 165K, let's say. Okay, so we're going to 165, well, I guess we need to go 16,000, no, right there, right? My math may be off. So 165, we're going to use that. Go ahead and click on working on it. And our image is going to come back over here to the downloads. There we go. And it is 165K. So this would be where you would put it in. Trust me, math was never my strong suit, folks. So, and I realize I'm not the only person out there who struggles with kilobytes and megabytes. When you're putting something online, you really would like for it to be in KBs if it's going to be on your website or if it's going to be in an email. So 425 down to 425 down to 165 here. And the images look the same on my computer because the size is showing up, but you can see, and I don't know if you can tell, but this image has some degradation in it because it's blowing it up. So I'm going to pop these two images open in Photoshop to show you what the difference in the resolution looks like. Okay, so I'm going to make them both 100% because this one came in a little bit on the large side. Okay, so there we go. We have it at 100%. So it reduced the image down, and you can tell it has compression artifacts in it. But if we zoom out and have it just down to smaller image, you can see that those get less and less. Where our 425 kilobyte image, that's this one, we can see that the compression is not there. The image is nice and clean, and this one is at 100%. And if I blow it up, we'll start to see pixel fragmentation in here, but the background still remains pretty nice without artifacts. When it comes to compressing your image, this is a good example to show you because you basically are playing a game to determine, you know, how good your image is going to look outside of that compression. So every time you compress to make the image smaller, if it is going to cause a degradation in that image's quality. And you just have to determine, is this too much degradation? And in my opinion, it would be. So let's go ahead and see if we could get a better image at 250K. That gives us a little bit of kind of an in between the total full out one and the one that we have here. So let me get back over here and pick up my downloads, And then there's my next image. So this one's at 250K, and I bet you when we open it up, it actually looks pretty good. It does. So that's at 67%. And you can tell that there's a little bit of artifact here, especially if I blow it up, but it is not nearly as bad as the one that we had open a moment ago that had this major, like you can definitely see where the pixels got averaged a little bit strangely. So as far as size-wise is concerned, I could live with how this image looks, especially as it gets smaller, because that becomes less and less noticeable, and it takes up much less space than the other image. So that's a little lesson in compression of images for you. If that just went whoop right over your head, don't worry about it. Mostly resizing is probably what you're going to do here. Another thing that people need oftentimes is to be able to convert an image. The image is currently in JPEG, but sometimes people ask you for a very specific image. A lot of times you will actually have the image in a PNG or a TIFF format, and someone will say, I can't handle that, I have to have a JPEG format. And this is where you could do that. This product or this tool is really effective at being able to take care of some very simple things for you, you know, and make it so easy. You just open the file and go for it. Two other things it allows you to do. It does allow you to flip the image. So we'll go ahead and click on that. You can flip horizontally or vertically. I'm going to go ahead and flip. And then again, you're not gonna you're gonna see that image is gonna get downloaded to your computer, and I'm flipping the full-sized one, so it's gonna take a moment for it to take care of that. You won't see it change here, but you'll see I have a download. So if I go back to my downloads window, I see that I have the flipped image at the full size, actually a little bit bigger than the original file, is already in my downloads folder. All right, let's go ahead and compress that back. One final thing would be cropping, and here you can obviously just move the little crop area to wherever you want to move it to, and then go ahead and click crop. This is really good if you have an image like this one that's really on a wide format and you want to put it on Instagram or somewhere else, and you'd like to maybe put, I don't know, some words or something with it inside your cell phone, and that program, whatever you're using, won't let you move the image. It wants to do a center crop. That's kind of rare these days, but you know, and heck, sometimes you want to crop the image. It's going to look better in a square format than a long format on your website. Or more likely, you're going to want to have the really long, skinny format, and your website software is not going to be behaving itself and getting the image where you want it to be. So a lot of our web banners are like this now. They're the really panoramic kind of format. So this is Photo Utils. To get to it, you just go to photoutils.com. That's PHOTOUTILS.com. And from there, just walk through all of the things that I've showed you this morning. It's really a simple tool, and it is very efficient at doing what it does, which is these 6 little simple things: resizing, converting file types, cropping, compressing, rotating, and flipping. So all of those things, if you are in need of them, this is a handy tool for you to use, and it's the favorite 4-letter word, free. All right, have a great week, and I will see you next Monday. I have a great program planned for next Monday. I'm actually going to be off enjoying sunny Arizona, so I am recording today a great web presentation I do about using your phone as a marketing power tool, and I'm going to supply that to everybody in my Make It Happen Monday group. So I hope you tune in for that. It's going to be a little longer than our usual Make It Happen Mondays, but I think you'll find it super valuable. So I will see you then, and have a great week. Thanks.